Morning everybody, my name is Will McDonald. I'm here in Adelaide, South Australia, and I've been doing this little weekly show for about 11 weeks now, just featuring paintball collections and that sort of thing. It's just a little thing that I threw together as something to do when everyone was in isolation and we weren't really sure how long it was going to be until we saw each other again on the paintball field. It seems like paintball's starting to happen again, which is a good thing. We'll see what that does for this little weekly show, but in the meantime I do have a show for you today, and I wanted to start off by mentioning Amanda Andrews and Easy, who are in the chat as you guys are so frequently, and quick special shout out to Easy, who has tuned in today despite the fact that he may very well be getting a tattoo right now. That's dedication. And I had to dig up a photo of Easy to chuck in there really quickly. Easy, I have to say, I had to go really far back in your timeline to find a picture of you playing paintball. What's that, from like 15 years ago? I know you're trying, but we got to get the boys back out so you got someone to play with. Okay. Now, I've got just a couple of quick mentions of what I've seen lately in the marketplace. Here I've got a slew of Impact jerseys, which Nick Sloviak is selling. There are a bunch of JRAB Impact jerseys, and I think he's also got a JRAB US National Team jersey. I don't know if JRAB just doesn't have an account and Nick is just selling them all for him, or if Nick's got sort of a single white female thing going on. But anyway, if you like JRAB and you like Impact, then check that out. Also came across this one thanks to Easy, of course, who spotted this Oli Lang Ironman jersey, which is also up. I don't know that this one's for sale. I think someone's just like looking for an appraisal and showing it off. Apparently this is from the 2001 Atlantic City Open. That thing is almost 20 years old. That's crazy. This one is pretty good timing because a little while ago, a week and a half or so ago, Oli Lang was on Play the Game podcast with Tyler Harmon and Marcella Margot, and it's a good episode. I've probably only listened to half of it. Listening to Oli Lang talk about his perception of life is pretty wild. I don't pretend to understand a lot of his thinking of things. He kind of operates on a different plane of understanding, but especially hearing him engage with Tyler Harmon's really entertaining. So check that out if you got nothing else on. I do have a few community submissions that I wanted to share with you. One is this Houston Heat jersey, which is a Chad George jersey. Chad George is a champion of the game, 2018, and I'm assuming this would be a game-worn jersey when Houston Heat beat the Russians. And the reason I wanted to share this one is because this is one of Jordan Gaddy Gat's collection. And Jordan is a up-and-coming Aussie player, plays in Super Sevens, and I think last year he played in the semi-pro division, and then this year he stepped into the pro division where he was just smashing it, and plays for the Eskimo brothers, and he's had a great season, and everybody's talking about Gaddy. So you can check out the Down Under Paintball podcast with Scotty Martin, episode 15, and learn a little bit about Gaddy, which I'm ever behind in my paintball podcast consumption, so I actually haven't listened to that one, but I am sure it doesn't disappoint. Now I have
just a tick.
My phone interrupting, which is convenient, but I also have a couple of other submissions here. So here's one. This is a jersey from, I reckon it's 25 plus years ago. And this is from a prominent female player in the game who's not a player anymore but a ref, and her name on the field was Dragon, and she's out of New Zealand. And anybody who knows anything, hey, you got mom and dad in the chat. anybody who knows anything about Australian paintball will probably figure out who this belongs to. So this team was Team Catapult, which I didn't know what Catapult was, but apparently it's sort of like a redback or a black widow spider. And apparently before Catapult, they were TTT. And I asked what TTT stood for, and she didn't know for sure. She said she was pretty sure that one of the T's stood for tinnies. I wonder if Amanda Andrews knows who I'm talking about here. She also shared with me a hand-painted banner from 25 plus years ago that they had made of their team TTT. And obviously I'm talking about Jill Henty, Jilly. So thanks for sharing those with me, Jilly. And it's funny because so many people will share a jersey like that. It's not a pro jersey. It's not a Chad George jersey. But they're like, oh, I've just got one of these jerseys. It's some 25-year-old jersey. It was my first team. And like, that to me is the most exciting stuff to hear about. So thank you for sending me that, Jilly. And if you want to know more about Jilly, you can check out the Center 50 video I did with Jilly and Fuzzy a few years ago at a piano paintball tournament here in South Australia, where I just kind of gave them some questions to read to each other, and they kind of just interviewed each other and chatted to each other for a little while. It was a number of years ago I did that. The quality's up and down, but it's still worth a listen, especially to check out their stories, because they're an important part of our culture here in Australia. I've got a little bit more here. So again, I don't know, Amanda, you might be able to pick this one too. So I've got a few jerseys there. There is a Kaoz Jersey at the top. There's a Hardline Jersey, a Junkyard Dogs jersey, South Australian jersey from State of Origin out at Action Paintball, another Kaoz jersey. And these jerseys would be Brett Morten's here in South Australia, who's been playing for eons. And he's such a great guy, Brett. He played for Chaos, and he's actually played for the Rockin' Cocks a couple times as well. And he flicked me some of his jersey collection, and apparently that sort of green one, the Chaos 01, is a hardline jersey, and apparently they had their own clothing line for a little while at some point. So again, as I try to frequently do, plug one of my own videos on this YouTube channel. If you don't know Brett and you want to know more about Brett, I got an interview with him that you can check out. Another Center 50 video. You should check it out. He's a very affable guy. He's very engaging, and he's got some very interesting stories of back in the day paintball. He goes into times playing against SWAT and Mike Wybrew way back in the day, old school paintball, and it's worth checking out. He's a pretty funny guy, Brett. Now, the reason that I wanted to talk about Brett and show off some of his jerseys is because today I'm showing off one of my last jerseys from somebody else. I'm showing off my Chaos jersey that Brett Morten gave to me. I did a trade with him because I played with them a couple of times. I wasn't officially on the Chaos roster or anything, but back when in South Australia the tournament scene was getting pretty skint, we often had to help each other out and supplement each other's teams, and I played with Chaos a few times. And then Brett and Troy and some of the Chaos lads played on the Rockin' Cocks as well. So he and I did a jersey trade, and I got that, where are we? Chaos jersey, no name on the back, so it's one of their blanks. Skirmish SA logo, as you would need to have in South Australia. Paintball Pete, who sent me a video last week, you might recall. Paintball Imports Australia, who supplied a lot of our paint back in the day. So there's my Chaos jersey, which again, it's one of my last jerseys from someone else. I've got a handful of other jerseys that are just my own personal jerseys that we might have to get into. But that jersey means a lot to me because they're a great team and a great bunch of guys. It's paintball history, and to have been given a Chaos paintball jersey, that meant a lot to me. Now, last week, we had a chat with Dwayne Nichols of PBHQ, And he and I had a great chat. I had to split it into two so that these videos don't go for too long. But I was going to throw to the second half of my chat with Dwayne from last week. So check it out. It's about 7 minutes. Hang in there because he talks a lot about some of his other pro jerseys, and then an emphasis on his sort of keenness for the South Australian, or the Australian jersey, the Australian team jerseys, like Australian players, teams, that sort of thing. And he and I are on a similar wavelength there. The US pro jerseys are awesome, but I'm pretty keen for the Australian jerseys myself. All right, so let's check out Dwayne.
Like, as far as talent, on-field talent is concerned, and then the last two, I just dropped this one. I think I've lost the hanger out of it, but is a Team USA Nick Sloviak jersey. Nick was kind enough to send this one out to me to have up in the background of the show. He's actually sent me two jerseys. I think I covered the shipping for this one, and that was it. Super generous guy. Also, like, and he's proven it, by going to the Ironman this year and winning the event. He's a solid addition to any team. So I really like that design too. I mean, you're from the US. I don't know what your thoughts on that design are, but that's.
I actually have that exact jersey. I geeked out one time. I don't know what I was doing. I was just geeking out, catching up with what the US team was doing, and I was just like, I need a US national team jersey, and I bought that same jersey, but I had my name put on the back because I'm such a
cool.
geek. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
That's cool.
A little bit silly.
You can claim one day down the road that you played for US.
It does not say supporter. Yeah.
See, they didn't think ahead, or they don't mind that if you lie to your grandkids. And then this took about 18 months to get to me. Nick offered to send this to me for the 100th episode as a gift, which of course he'd just gone to X Factor at the time, and I said that I would absolutely love to have it. And I then offered to give it away on the show. But it took a few detours the first time he tried to send it. After quite a while, it made its way back to Nick. By this stage, the person that I had given that jersey away to, I sort of made a deal with them to instead give them one of these Team Australia jerseys, because I didn't think that this Nick's jersey was ever going to make it here. So then, by virtue of that, down the road, I ended up with this X Factor jersey, which I love the color. The team, again, is super successful, so I think that's cool.
And the player.
Yeah, oh man, absolutely, no doubt. And then to pump through really quickly some of the local jerseys that I've been lucky enough to be given. And this is probably the part of the collection I would like to add to the most, because I like to hang them in the back of the show when I'm talking about events from various states. So Expendables, they've won plenty and been on the podium plenty, so I've always got a chance to rep those guys. Dave Hopkins gave me this one when I did the shout out for local jerseys. He was one of the first people to say, yep, here's one of mine. So always appreciate that. The Marauders, I've actually got two various designs of the Marauders, but I'm just showing one. So this is Addy's. Jason's is in the cupboard somewhere else as well, so I like that.
Surely Addy's has a higher market value.
Yeah, without doubt. I couldn't see how it couldn't. This STK, when they were with Di at the time, they were trying to raise funds to go to the Millennium Series at the time. I reached out to Dan, and I said that I would be absolutely happy to buy one. Did that, helped the guys out, and then I've got a jersey of one of my favorite Australian paintballers there.
Yep, that's a good choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Eskimo Brothers, again, when they were doing a jersey order, I pretty much had to get in on that one. I didn't want to miss out. Again, although I haven't got in on the latest ones, but I'll quickly mention that at the end. This one is really cool. When I went to WA to play, I jumped on with Talk. And then when I got home sometime later, they updated their jerseys, and they got me my own Mr. PBHQ. I knew nothing about it. It just rocked up on the doorstep one day. Appreciate Janine and Steve out there. Great field owners, great team. I hope that we see Talk again in the future.
100%.
Ringo from SWAT, much like Dave Hopkins, when I did the call out and I wanted jerseys of teams that are likely to be on podiums and be featured on the show, well, Sydney SWAT are right amongst that. And I do have to be fair, there's a lot of SWAT jerseys that I don't like the look of. I haven't always loved the SWAT designs, but this one I actually really do like. I think that's one of the best SWAT jersey designs. So I got a Ringo jersey there, which is really cool as well. Hunter from out in WA got me a Crisis jersey. This is a Marley Wright Crisis jersey. It turned out that he didn't end up playing for Crisis. He'd organised to play with them, but his work had taken him elsewhere, so he wasn't able to. So yeah, that's a pretty unique piece. I spent a lot of time playing with STK, including in Europe. Really nice dude. So that one's a cool one to have. And then down in Victoria, and I really would like to have more Victorian jerseys. The boys from Order 66, they did up 2 jerseys for me, in fact, this one and then one of their Stormtroopers ones as well. And again, whilst something went a little awry with the spelling here, name and number on the back. So really cool to have teams just offer to do that when they're getting their jerseys printed, just to, get one with my name on it is really cool. And look, if there's teams looking to get jerseys this year, I'm all for it. If you're wanting to have your jersey featured in the back of PBHQ, I've got room in the cupboard. I'll make it fit. So I'm definitely keen for that. And lastly, 2 really quick ones that sort of don't fit anywhere else by definition. This is an Asawan jersey, sponsor of the show. He's so generous in the paintball community. I think you may have even won $100.
I did. That's right.
100 of PBHQ. Thanks to Archer. So he sent me out this one a long time ago. Really appreciated that, and everything he's done for the show. He is truly someone that never asks for anything in return. Every time I say, would you like me to mention something on the show for you or one of your events or whatever the case might be, he always says no. Just keep doing what you're doing. So I appreciate him. And then lastly, this is a test jersey that there's only a few of these in existence as well. Connor from PB Athlete. So when he was doing, this is the first run of what he's calling his strike jerseys. And it was just a bit of a sort of tester, I suppose, to see how the fabric would turn out and how the design printed up and that kind of thing. And he asked me to test it. And from everything I've seen, and worn this at training a handful of times, they're a pretty quality bit of gear. And I know he's made more additions since then to make them even better. So that's everything that I wanted to highlight tonight. There, as I said, there's probably another 10 stacked up on the floor there, but they're sort of the main ones that I could cover off in a somewhat short period of time.
Similarly, you talked about hoping to collect more of the Aussie-based jerseys.
Yeah.
It's so great to have the pro jerseys and whatnot, but same here. Like I'd relish to collect just the Aussie ones. Like I've been talking to some of the guys from Cartel. They were, I don't know, just selling off some stuff, trying to get an extra bit of cash. And I was like, yeah, give me a Cartel jersey. I'll pay that. I'll buy one. And they almost seemed surprised. Like, why wouldn't I want a Southeast Cartel jersey?
A Cartel jersey I think would be great. Hustle over that way. I think, down in Victoria, they're sort of like the 2 staple teams that have been there the longest. Maybe an NRG jersey, the green suit. As much as I would never like to wear it necessarily. The design is cool. It's been around a long time. And then, guys like Elmo, icons of the game here locally, would love to have one of his jerseys. Maybe an old Wairoo jersey, like a throwback, maybe an Adam Connolly. Some of those guys that have just been around a real long time. Johnny Robber, The Simpsons, I could definitely get around getting some of those jerseys. So if any of those people are checking this out, we should do a deal.
Cool. So that's Dwayne Nichols of PBHQ. And for those of you guys at home, especially in the States, you might not know Dwayne, but he's an absolute, why am I looking at my computer? He's an absolute legend of Australian paintball, and he does a weekly show. I think I've seen Easy in there a couple of times. So he's the real deal. This is just a little bush league thing that I do on Sundays to keep me busy. But Dwayne does the real work on Mondays, 7:30 Adelaide time, whatever time that is for you guys. So you should check him out, get around him, because he's the one who's actually, really, really building the community. A couple of things that I wanted to mention. First of all, I got Justin Birchall in the chat. Justin is probably the most highly spoken about player from back in Charlottesville around the Rudy's paintball scene where I kind of stepped out of bushball and into tournament paintball, and it's an honor to have you in the chat, Justin. Thanks for the support. I also meant to bring up, when I was talking about Jilly and Fuzzy of Refs Inc., I meant to mention that they recently did an ISO Blues video, which is pretty funny. Just a bunch of the Refs Inc. Refs doing stuff in their Refs Inc. kit, taking out the rubbish, brushing their teeth, showering. There's been a few of those videos, as in the Perth and Pure guys, just trying to kind of make light of a pretty challenging situation that we're all going through. But it's also Refs Inc.'s 15th year as of this year. So it was a pretty special year for Refs Inc. as well. Now, a couple of other things finishing up. Dwayne showed off a U.S. men's national team jersey, and I did mention that I had one, and I wasn't going to make a big deal of it because it's not much. It's not an important jersey. I just had one made because I was, I think, nostalgic and missed home, so I made one of those. And I do enjoy this jersey, but I wasn't going to feature it. I am expecting a submission from another U.S. women's national team player who's going to be sending me some content soon, which I'm pretty excited about. Dwayne also mentioned Connor Johnston, PB Athletes, jersey that he had made in that video. Just a reminder, keep an eye on that space. I think Connor's going to be a big deal in the jersey and sort of paintball fashion scene here in Australia and New Zealand very soon. Keep an eye on that. Dwayne mentioned how he would love to have an Elmo jersey. Well, just a heads up, next week I'll be showing a chat that I had with Elmo, and in that conversation I learned that you're gonna have a hard time coming across Elmo jerseys. Dwayne, he knows of the one, maybe two people that have Elmo jerseys, and he keeps that on a tight wrap. So I think we'd all love an Elmo jersey. I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. All right, so I'm pretty sure, except for all of the things that I have forgotten today, this morning, whatever, I'm pretty sure that's all I got. Reminder, tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Adelaide time, whatever that equates to you. We got Dwayne doing PBHQ, and like I said, that's where the real work is done, so check that out, tune in, the chat's always lively, and until then, or until next time, have a good week, do the right thing, don't be naughty, drink your milk, eat your vegetables, stay out of trouble, and hopefully I'll see you on the paintball field soon.